Well, there was a Smackdown show on tonight. I don't know if you knew about it because these shows never trend. Nothing they do is ever talked about. Nothing exciting happens. I mean, this was the go home show to the Elimination Chamber. Okay. I mean, I can't say I watched the full show because as I'm filming this, I've just seen Heavy Machinery and New Day start off this tag team gauntlet match, and there's still 45 minutes left in the show. But presumably that'll just be the whole tag team gauntlet, and then probably I don't even care who wins. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So I'm filming this review now. This show tonight, the go home show, I just don't know how to feel anymore. Because you can scream, you can rant, you can make a commotion, you can be apathetic, you can do whatever you want, but they don't care, okay? You can give them $1 billion contract over 5 years for SmackDown. They won't care, they won't try. I think this show was booked it was written in a crayon, booked by Vince McMahon at 1:30 in the morning, as Vince is literally barely sleeping. I don't know what is the deal with these shows. I don't know why or how they can be this bad, this nauseating, this repetitive. I feel like I'm watching the same show now on March 6th as I did in December 2019. These shows haven't changed a bit. It's the same storylines week in, week out. Oh, but no, well, don't say, no, Roman Reigns has now moved on to Goldberg and King Corbin's facing Elias. Who cares? Does anyone care? I'm watching this show tonight, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I get it's the go-home show. The pay-per-view on Sunday shouldn't even be happening. Nothing eventful is happening. It's a glorified Raw on Sunday night. But do something. Give us a fresh angle. Anything, please. And we got nothing. There's nothing to note. And I took a heap of notes on this because I was going to just do this massive rant. And I still might later in the video, so stay tuned. But I was going to do this giant rant about this SmackDown. But at the end of the day, nothing on this show matters. And even if I make a big commotion, what's that going to do? I'm just literally going to, I took so many notes on this show. I amazed myself that in the 75 minutes of this show, I sat through, from the start to right through to the 75-minute mark that I sat through, I took plenty of notes. So I'm just going to get into the review of this utter atrocity that we had to witness on Friday night. If you paid money to go to this show, what in God's name is wrong with you? What did you expect? When you saw a moment of piss with the NWO announced, when you saw the tag team gauntlet announced, when I saw them, and then I saw Lacey Evans and Naomi versus Bayley and Sasha announced, I was thinking to myself, do I even bother reviewing this show? Is this even worth my time? Is it? Is it? And like usual, like every week, of course it's not, because the SmackDown try their best at this day and age to just put on the most an uneventful, worthless, mediocre, boring shows they can. Bruce Pritchard, or as JD from NY says, Bruce, you, Bruce Pritchard, are an absolute clown. You are a yes man and you have no passion or love for this business. And if you do, voice it, okay? Because there's only so much people can take. After WrestleMania 36, I'm not going to watch SmackDown. Or at least if I do, it's going to be like watching half an hour and doing a rant video. Because I'm only watching this show because it's WrestleMania season. And even then, this show I watched tonight, does it feel like WrestleMania season? Boy, it doesn't to me. Because we have WrestleMania 36 in 30 days. I don't know if you realize that. This was the 5th final SmackDown until WrestleMania 36. And to the cretins on social media who say, well, but the Elimination Chamber's on Sunday. Well, they can't do anything because the Chamber's on Sunday. Do anything. I don't care. One of these meaningless matches is happening at the Chamber. Do a big angle. Try something. SmackDown doesn't try anything. It's so frustrating that you just watch the show and you think there's no care. They don't care. They don't want to try. They don't have any desire to make this show better. They have none. Bruce Pritchard, Vince, Kevin Dunn, any of the writers and the yes men and the upper management, they don't care. And if they do, oh my god, I'd hate to see when they don't care, because this show tonight and the shows we've been getting in the past few weeks they're just a waste of time. Like, tonight, I'll just get into the review. So, once again, we open with that opening for SmackDown. I can't be bothered. I would scream about this show, but it's just not worth it. Pretty much, Are You Ready for a Good Time by AC/DC is the most contradictory song they can possibly use for SmackDown's opener. Are you ready for a good time? Matter of fact, anything to do with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon, that isn't a good time. Okay, that is a nightmare. When the rumors hit that Vince McMahon steps down from his position, that will be me being ready for a good time. This, every Friday on SmackDown, this show being booked by Bruce, that isn't a good time. Okay, it's anything but. So we go from that, and right away I'm thinking to myself, why did I do this? Why did I agree to watch this show? So, we get, from there after the open, we get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross coming out for a moment of piss. This time, it's featuring the NWO. So, first off, I know I said this earlier in the video, this is going to be a theme throughout. We are currently 4 weeks, okay? We are 4 weeks away from WrestleMania 36. WrestleMania. The biggest show this company does every year. We are 4 weeks away, and we're opening this SmackDown show, which is allegedly the A show for World Wrestling Entertainment now because of this Fox deal. We're opening the show with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross pandering to the NWO. Yeah, because the Hall of Fame needs build over the matches that are happening at WrestleMania. What an absolute joke. So, pretty much, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, well, Alexa says this, she says, the women's tag titles need to be defended on all brands, and we want a title shot. Please, God no, just don't. Burn the women's tag titles, I want no part of them. So, that was what we got there, Bliss and Cross wanting another tag title match. Like, anyone wants to see that. Who wants to see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors? When was the last time the women's tag belts were defended? Who's anyone that cares? Like, oh my god. So for me, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Sean Waltman, they won't call him X-Pac, it was Sean Waltman here. Those guys came out. So from here, we literally get Nash, Hall, and Waltman sitting down in the chairs in the ring, and they're literally trying to put over Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. This is the same thing they did with Hogan like last week or a couple weeks ago for Bray Wyatt and Goldberg. This time they're trying to get these legends to amp us up for Goldberg, Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, you could get Stone Cold, The Rock, Hogan, you can get anyone you want to say that, oh well, Goldberg versus Reigns is a big match. I don't care. Because when watching this product week in, week out, and seeing what the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, puts into every bit of performance he does, seeing that week in, week out, all the effort he puts in, get squashed by Goldberg in 3 minutes in Saudi Arabia, and now it's Goldberg Roman, it's just a disaster. So from here, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro, 3 guys who 5 years ago were on top of the world, now they couldn't be any more worthless. These guys come out, and I mean, they're 2 days away from being beaten 3-on-1 in 5 minutes by Braun Strowman, so that's going to be utterly just, you can't miss that. So these guys, Sami Zayn's trying to start beef with the NWO, calling out Sean Waltman for carrying the bags of Nash and Hall. Why is this the television we're getting a month before WrestleMania? What does this have to do with anything? So, Sami Zayn's calling out Sean Waltman. The NWO guys all stand up to square up to them. Nash is like a foot taller than everyone in the ring. From here, Braun Strowman's music hits, and Strowman comes down with the IC title around his waist, takes out Cesaro, throws him into the screens, takes out Nakamura. Sami Zayn gets backed into the ring. He hides behind Alexa Bliss, then runs off. And then Strowman does like a too sweet with the NWO. And that's how he closed this opening segment of SmackDown. Really just must see, building up this 3-on-1 handicap match, building up this match for a dead pay-per-view. Does anyone care to see this meaningless IC title match on Sunday? A 3-on-1 handicap match? What, are you going to have Cesaro, Nakamura, and Zayn be co-champions after they've been beaten up by Strowman every week for 3 months? Just get out of here. So, from here we see Lacey Evans and Naomi backstage walking ahead of their tag match versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. And I think to myself, didn't we see this last week? Did Bruce like collapse unconscious during the match? Or does he not remember it happening? Why are we seeing this again? And why should anyone care? So from here, we're treated to a commercial break, and then Bayley and Sasha versus Naomi and Lacey Evans. As I said, we saw this last week. Why should I care? So pretty much all four of these women, just because I'm in a kind of a venting mood tonight, all of these women have absolutely dreadful entrances. Okay? Naomi's entrance provokes seizures. Lacey Evans has a dead theme song. And speaking of dead theme songs, Bayley and Sasha have the worst theme songs in the company. Okay? They do. The worst theme songs in the company. Literally, this match was just a waste of time. We get a commercial break right away, so another commercial. Then we get that like glitch thing, which is like Mustafa Ali, clearly. From here, Sasha Banks just pins Naomi with like a double knees in the corner. So we need more 50-50 booking. Who honestly cares that Sasha Banks just won? I sure as hell don't. Sasha Banks pinned Naomi. Does it matter? So that's what we got there. From here, the New Day are interviewed backstage. Wait to hear the question they got asked. They get asked by Kayla Braxton whether tonight's meaningless gauntlet match, she didn't say it's meaningless, but whether tonight's gauntlet match to determine who comes in last in the Elimination Chamber match on Sunday for the tag titles of SmackDown, which no one cares about, who and what is that gauntlet match, and what is it going to be, and, sorry, I botched this, I'll retry that. Will this gauntlet match be like Kofi Mania? Because remember last year, Kofi Kingston won the gauntlet match, so now we're doing another gauntlet match because World Wrestling Entertainment, we entertain, we write stories. So from here, the New Day try and hype their match up as if answering this question about how this is like Kofi Mania. Like, excuse me? The worthless SmackDown tag division, which is, the title's held by Miz and Morrison, the New Day lost a week ago. You're trying to compare that to when Kofi Kingston overcame a gauntlet and then was feuding with Bryan for the title. Just so much illogical crap on this show. So from here, Sasha Banks and Bayley do some cringeworthy pandering to one another. People on social media trying to claim that Sasha Banks made some comment about that she pointed at the women's title, tapped it with the finger or something, and people are trying to overanalyze this. I don't care. Just make Sasha Bayley happen at WrestleMania. That's it. Anyway, from here we moved on to Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. I don't even want to review this. Pretty much, Sheamus, remember when he returned, January 3rd, and everyone was like, oh, well, Sheamus is back. This is a good episode of SmackDown. Where's he now? Where is Sheamus 2 months later? Because, to me, he's totally lost in the shuffle. It couldn't be any less credible. I couldn't care less about him. Then Apollo Crews is shown backstage, not shaking Shorty G's hand. Who cares? Why does this matter? Will this affect WrestleMania? No, so don't care. From here, we get a 90-second match. Crews does a standing, shooting star press. And we get Corey Graves on commentary saying, Crews has all the tools, but he needs to change his strategy. Mr. Graves, I need to address something. How can Apollo Crews change his strategy when his strategy... what is his strategy? He's backstage and Vince doesn't use him because of his skin color. That's the strategy. So, can Apollo Crews change his skin color? Get out of here. This is a joke. From here, backstage, we see Drew Gulak in a suit. He's looking like some agent. Drake Maverick comes over, and they start talking about Daniel Bryan's weaknesses. And then Bryan comes over, and he says that, if you know my weaknesses, challenge me for a match, or we'll have a match at the Chamber. So Bryan will squash Gulak in 5 minutes. And these people on wrestling Twitter are like, well, it could be a 15-minute match. It could be a great match. Why? Even if it does go 15 minutes, why does anyone care? There's no story. So from here, we see that backstage, on WWE Backstage, we're going to get AJ Styles on Tuesday night on Backstage at 11 p.m. on Fox. And just remember, guys, this is the same show which on Tuesday night had Jeff Hardy on, and it drew 18,000 viewers. 18,000. Is there any point even doing the show when it's drawing that low viewers? So that's what we got there. From here, we moved in to a match that we really wanted to see. If you didn't want to see this match, what the hell's wrong with you? Carmella and Dana Brooke versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Yeah, we got that on SmackDown tonight. This is 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. We'll keep that in mind because I feel like it's an important thing to bring up. We are 4 weeks away from the biggest pay-per-view they're doing all year, and we've got Carmella and Dana Brooke versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Now, I'm sure there might be a credence saying that, oh, well, but the main thing with this match was that Ziggler was in Mandy Rose's corner. Okay, I didn't need to see a 5-minute women's tag match with Dana Brooke, Carmella, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose, did I? You could have just done a backstage segment in 10 seconds. So that's what we got there. Literally, Fire and Desire just won, and then Ziggler was clapping. So moving on, that was the first hour. Okay, let me recap. A moment of piss with the NWO. Lacey and Naomi against Bayley and Sasha in a rematch. Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. And Carmella and Dana Brooke versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. That was an hour of SmackDown. People wonder why this show is in the state it's in. That this company is in the position it's in. It's hours like that, and that's just not a one-off thing. It's not just a bad hour. This is the go-home show to a pay-per-view. This is a month before WrestleMania 36. That is the first hour of television you're putting on Fox for SmackDown. I just don't know why I bother. So from here, we open the second hour with the Firefly Funhouse. We get Wyatt's wall, and it's full of pictures of Cena. Wyatt refers to the WrestleMania 30 match as causing his personal and professional life to go in a downward spiral. That's good. That was always had to be part of the story. Makes sense. From here, Bray Wyatt comments about his life coming full circle. This was cool, but honestly, it should just be Cena's road to 17 versus Wyatt's redemption. That's the story to go with. Instead, Cena's just there. It just doesn't mean anything. So from here, we go backstage to King Corbin being interviewed by Kayla Braxton. So Kayla Braxton introduces King Corbin. Corbin right away says that him and Reigns are finished. And right away I think, oh yeah? Are you really? So come June, when Vince and Bruce Pritchard run out of opponents for Roman Reigns, after Reigns squashes The Fiend for 2 pay-per-views after WrestleMania, who are we going to get? Who? Are we going to get Roman Reigns versus King Corbin? Because I think we will. So King Corbin says that him and Reigns are finished, and then Elias interrupts him. Elias. So these two go back and forth verbally. Who honestly cares about King Corbin versus Elias? Just get out of here. From here, we get a recap of Occupy Raw. For some reason. Okay. Why was this recapped? Recapping Occupy Raw. So yeah, where all the neckbeards hijacked the ring, all these plant WWE fans doing a yes chant and doing no chants, as Stephanie McMahon was screaming like a banshee. Great segment. So from here we get the main event. I assume it's the main event, the gauntlet match between all the 6 tag teams in the division outside the Revival to determine who faces, or not even who faces, determine who comes in 6th in the meaningless Elimination Chamber match on Sunday. If you think I'm wasting my valuable and precious time watching that crap, you're sadly mistaken. Okay, so now I'm nearly 18 minutes into this review. This has by far been my longest SmackDown review I think I've done. This review has been the culmination of my frustrations for SmackDown over the past few months. It's just, how can the show be this bad? I don't understand it. I just don't. Nothing they do makes sense. Nothing they do is engaging to watch. Nothing they do is fun, cool, fresh, exciting. There's no care for this show. No, engagement goes into this. You can tell Bruce Pritchard just doesn't care. Vince doesn't care. They just throw this show out on TV. There's no effort to book new people on this show. It's just the same thing week in, week out. You'll get your Otis and Mandy segment. You'll get your little hit of Roman Reigns. Tiny wasn't even on. And the show was even worse. I don't know how that's possible. King Corbin will be there. Sheamus will have a match probably. A moment of piss. Bayley and Sasha as the women's champion. Whatever. It's just defeating. It really is. This SmackDown review, each week, I go into it thinking, how bad can they make this show? Surely this week the show will be decent. And every week it's basically a rerun of the week before, if not worse. Which is just embarrassing for them. I don't know how they get the company to be in this state that it's in 2020. I don't know how they do it, because I read over the notes I've taken for this show, and I think to myself, this is where the company's at in 2020. This is the road to WrestleMania 30 days out from the biggest show of the year. This, a moment of piss with the NWO. Zayn, Nakamura, and Cesaro getting embarrassed by Strowman for the 15th week in a row. We get Bayley and Sasha versus Naomi and Lacey Evans in a rematch. We get, what do we even get? Sheamus, Apollo Crews for 90 seconds. We get Carmella and Dana Brooke versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. These matches scream main event. They don't scream SmackDown or Raw. The Firefly Funhouse. Okay. And then what? An Occupy Raw recap and a 45-minute tag team gauntlet match I'm not even going to bother watching. Presumably Miz and Morrison won. If they didn't, it'll probably be another heel team. And what are the other heel teams in that match? Ziggler and Rude. They're not going to have a face team finish the match and come in last. That's never how they do it. So that's the review. Currently, there's still 24 minutes left of SmackDown. I'm going to probably end up posting this bang on the end of the show because that's what this show deserves. I'm just done. SmackDown is the worst wrestling program in the history of the business. I thought Raw in 2018, 2019 was bad. This, just rerun after rerun for 4 months. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. So that's SmackDown. Like, comment, sub. See ya.